Okay, so I hope you have already opened the file, the RMD file, R markdown file that I shared with you. Now, an R markdown file has, for those of you who are meeting this kind of a file for the first time, you notice that an R markdown has these code chunks in it. Okay, these are called code chunks, and in an R markdown file, we can only run codes in R in this code chunk. Another way to run R is to use the R script. So let me open an R script here in your R. Okay, so you have 4 different panes. Okay, you may wish, guys, to change the pane position in the same way as I have, guys, so that we will have uniformity. So how do you change pane positions? Okay, so this is your code window. This is your source window. This is our, in my case, the environment window is here below. Then my console window is on the upper right, and then my files window is on the lower right. So how do I change the position in case the position of your window panes are different? You just go here to Tools. Okay, here in the tabs here above, in our RStudio, then we have Tools, and then you go to Global Options. Tools and then Global Options. Okay, then you can change the appearance. Okay, you might have a different color scheme, different editor scheme. You can change the appearance here. If we click appearance, then you can change the font, you can change the zoom size, or you can change the editor theme. I'm using Cobalt. If you're interested in this color scheme, I'm using Cobalt. Okay, and then that's how you change the appearance. And then for the pane layout, you click this one, pane layout. So here in the pane layout, this is how my window pane in RStudio is arranged. I have the source window, and then the console is here, environment, and then files. Of course, you can continue using the window pane layout that you have now. But if you want to change it, so if I want the console to be here, okay. So let's assume that your console is here, guys. Okay, so here you click this one. Okay, then you put console, or okay, then if your console is here, then you click environment, so that the environment will be under the source window. Okay, automatically your console will go up here. Okay, so this is one. I prefer using this one because the source is here and the console, the results are found on the beside the source. Okay, others prefer the console being positioned down the source window. Okay, so whatever your preference is. Okay, so I click OK. Okay, so I still have the same pane layout. Okay, so when you open an RStudio, you can either here, you see this plus sign here. When you click this below, you can either open an R script, an R notebook, an R markdown, and there are other things that you can open here. So let's this is an R markdown. This is an R markdown file, RMD file. So let me open, for example, an R script window. If I click this, then it will open an R script. Okay, it's quite different from an R markdown. There are advantages of using R markdown, which we'll learn as we go on. In an R script window, the codes can be written anywhere. Let's say 4 raised to the 100th power. Okay, Control Enter, and then it gives us the answer here. So that's 1.6 times 10 to the 60th power. That's 4 to the 100. Okay, so you can write your code chunk here anywhere, and comments are written. This is a comment. This is a comment. So if it's a comment, R will not run that. Okay, so let's do a simple arithmetic. 3 plus 10 control enter, and then you have the answer here, 13. Okay, the answer, if you're using an R script window, the answer will be found in your console. Okay, we're using an R markdown file. You notice there's a difference between the R markdown and the R script window. In the R markdown, in an R markdown file, if I type a code, for example, here, 4 to the 100th power, okay, and then press Control Enter, notice that it will not run because this line is not inside a code chunk. Okay, what's a code chunk in our window, R markdown? A code chunk only appears in our R markdown file. And a code chunk is you can see a code chunk by, you notice here the grave accent, 1, 2, 3, and then the R, and then the parentheses or the brackets. So how do you start a code chunk in R markdown? You press the grave function, the grave key that's on the upper left above the tab. So grave, and then brackets, and then you press R. Okay, and then to end it, you have another grave, 3. Okay, so R will only read what's inside the code chunk. So if I now type 4 to the 100, R will now read this, Control Enter, and then it gives us the answer, this one. Also, it gives us the answer in the console window. Okay, so 1.6 times 10 to the 60th power. Okay, so that's one way to write a code chunk in R. Another way is, the easier way is to, if you take a look at this insert here, insert, and then R, okay, automatically it writes the code chunk. Okay, and then you can write your code there, and then you can run it. Okay, so for example, I write here multiplication. This will not be run because this has a hashtag sign, so that means it's a comment. So I say 3 times 100 divided by 23 plus 65 times 1 times 10. Okay, so you have this operation. R will, of course, follow the PEMDAS rule. So it will first multiply here, and then divide, and then multiply 65 times 10, and then add it. Okay, it will do the addition here last because in the PEMDAS rule, the multiplication and division comes first. Okay, if you run this, okay, so you see that we can run codes inside a code chunk. So how do you run a code in a code chunk? You can go to the line that you want to run and then Control Enter. Okay, you can do that. So it runs, or you can just, if you want to run the whole chunk of code, you can run this one. Okay, this one, run current chunk. Or there are other options here, run. Okay, here you're running a selected line if you're in a code chunk and then there are several lines of code, but you just want to run where your cursor is, then you choose this, run selected lines. Or if you want to run the whole chunk, okay, that's the run current chunk. Or if you want to run the next chunk, then run next chunk. There are several other options here. So for example, let's illustrate that. 3 times 100. Okay, so you have these 2 lines of code here in this chunk. If I press this one, if I click this one, it will run the current chunk, all of it. Or you can run it here, run current chunk, it's the same. Or you press Control Shift Enter. Okay, so if you're anywhere here, Control Shift Enter, it will run both lines of code. So that's a shortcut, Control Shift Enter. If you want to run only a particular line, so you go here. If you just want to run this particular line, then you press Control Enter, or go here, run selected line, click this, then it will only run the line where your cursor is located. Okay, so this is just a very generic brief review for those of you who were my students before. So this is to benefit those of you who will be running R for the first time. Okay, so let me just delete this. Okay, I'll just delete this, guys. Okay, highlight that and then press delete. Okay. All right. Now, when we run R, guys, the advantage of using R as a package or even Python is that there is already a big community of R users. This community of R users, what they have done is to run or come up with packages on statistics, packages on machine learning, packages on, let's say, econometrics, packages on social sciences, packages on network modeling, packages on structural equation modeling, etc., etc., etc. And this has been made available to users of R. So what's good about this is R is free and that it's very robust in the sense that to date, I'm not sure how many packages there are now in R. Let's check, guys. Let me go to my, let's Google it. See current number of packages in R. Let's see R package. Let's see if there's one in Wikipedia. Let's just have an update. R packages are extensions, okay, but it doesn't state here how many. I know there are more than 20,000 packages already. So imagine that at your disposal, guys. You can use these several packages. How many packages are, okay, let's see, contributed packages, 18,000 as of the time of this writing. It says here that there are 18,305 available packages. And not to mention those that are not yet published in CRAN. CRAN refers to Comprehensive R Archive Network. If you look at the website of CRAN, it's this one, okay? It's this one. You'll be able to see so many materials about R, okay? Articles about R, tutorials about R. So if you really want to learn and master R, although it's difficult to master because it keeps on improving, it keeps on, many people keep on adding packages. So it will be a software for your lifetime, because I'm sure that by the time you get to the corporate world, or if you're going to have your own business as an entrepreneur, R would have many numerous packages. Okay, and towards the end of this term, guys, we're going to learn machine learning, and it's a pretty exciting field, guys, and we're going to use R and also a bit of R Python for that. Okay, so let me go back to what we were discussing. Okay, packages are softwares, they're programs that are attached to R. Okay, so there are several packages. So let's try to see here, guys, in the packages pane. If you click packages here, so it's still running. We will be having different number of packages because I've already installed several packages here in this computer. So let's try to compare, guys, how many packages you have. It's taking some time. Have you seen, guys, how many packages are installed there in your machine? Okay, does this have a number? Okay, it doesn't have a number, but you notice, guys, that I have so many packages already here. For example, you won't see XG boost. Can you see XG boost in the packages pane, guys? Please chat yes or no, guys. Try to see XG boost. Do you have it? No. Okay, no, because you haven't installed it, guys. So every time you install a package, it will appear here in the package section. So because I've been using R for a long time, guys, and I have already uploaded several packages here, you notice that my packages are quite many. Okay, so when you install a package, then it will reflect here. And the next time you want to access it, you can just go here. And then, for example, I want to access XG boost. Okay, if I type just XG, there, it appears here, XG boost. This is a package for machine learning. Okay, so how do we install R? For those of you who don't know how to install, the package, since we're going to use tidyquant, Quantmod, and TTR packages, I'm sure maybe for most of you, you haven't installed this. So let's just insert it here, guys, so that we have the same row number. Okay. So how do we insert, guys, a code chunk here? The manual way, did I show you a while ago, is to, yeah, I think I did, type the grave accent and then R, okay, and then type, close it there. So you can now write your code chunk here. Okay, and another way I said before is that you can insert and then R. Okay, so let me just erase this one. Okay, so kindly follow, guys, my line so that we are in the same place. So that when I refer, for example, line number, row number 20, will have the same. Okay, so how do you install packages in R? We use install. Okay, if you type install, then you'll see that R has an IntelliSense. Okay, so here it says install that packages. So I don't have to type everything. And this comes from utils, it comes from the utils package also. Okay, and it comes with base R. So you don't have to install utils in order to access this. Okay, install that packages. I'll just type tab. I'll just click tab, and then it will already type it. And then quotes, guys, quotes, and then let's type tidyquant. Okay, tidyquant, and then enter. And then I'll type, sorry. So here, enter, not control enter, guys, because if you press control enter, then it will run the code. Just pressing enter will add another space. Then let me just copy this, control C, control V, oops, sorry, control C, control V, and then let me replace tidyquant with Quantmod. Okay, and then enter once again, and then control V, and then let me replace it by, what are we going to use? TTR, that's technical trading in R. Okay, TTR. Okay, so that's how we install packages in R. Okay, so most probably, guys, you haven't installed this packages yet. Okay, so how will you know, guys, if you haven't installed these packages? One way to check, guys, is to run this code, library Quantmod, for example. If you haven't installed that, then there will appear an error because you can't access yet Quantmod because it's not yet installed. Okay, so let's install that, guys. I won't install this anymore because it's already installed in my PC. So you can run this. Okay, run the current chunk, and then R will install the tidyquant, the Quantmod, and then the TTR. So kindly do that now, and then I'll give you a few minutes to wait. Once it has already been installed, then kindly please chat, guys, please chat installed so that I know you're already done. May option to update all pala din, sir. Yeah, you have the option. Thank you, Bern, for that question. For example, you have an installed package and you want to update it, then you can, please don't update now, because if you have many packages, then that will take long. Okay, it means that it will update if you have installed already several packages. Okay, please chat, guys, if you have already installed the 3 packages. We're going to use these packages for the next 2 sessions, TidyQuant, Quantmod, and TTR. Okay, that's good. Okay, thank you. Okay, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, let's wait for the others. Okay, thank you, John. Thank you. Okay, meron pa ba? Are there somebody else who haven't installed their packages? Who's still installing the packages? Kindly chat, please. We'll wait for you. Otherwise, if not, guys, we will proceed. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Melanie. Okay, I guess everyone has already installed the package. Now, remember, guys, that packages contain programs that can be used in R, that's used to reinforce R. Okay, and if you want to know about a package, guys, you can Google this. For example, TidyQuant. Let's do that. Let's see. Okay, let's Google this. TidyQuant package. Okay. So you see here, there are several resources. Okay. So you can go to the CRAN itself, package. Let's do this. Package TidyQuant R. Okay. So here, guys, it says here what that package is all about. So bringing business and financial analysis to the Tidyverse. Okay, the TidyQuant package provides a convenient wrapper to various XTS, Zoo, Quantmod, TTR performance analytics package functions and returns the objects in the tidy table format. Okay, so when you say wrapper, guys, convenient wrapper, it takes codes from the XTS package, Zoo, Quantmod, TTR, and performance analytics. We're going to meet these packages to a great extent, especially performance analytics, also Zoo and also XTS, of course, Quantmod and TTR. Okay, so if you want to learn more about that, you can use this. There's a reference manual. So if you click this reference manual, okay, so this is how packages are standardized in R. So this was developed just recently, March 5, 2021. Okay, and the title is Tidy Quantitative Financial Analysis, which really fits our subject. And the version is 1.03. And the maintainer, the one who wrote this, is Matt Dancho. Okay, so the description is it brings business and financial analysis to this world, to the Tidyverse world. Okay, and the URL, you can find it here. Bug reports, if there are any. Okay, and then if you scroll further, we can see here the list of codes, the list of functions that you can use with the TidyQuant. Okay, so we're going to use some of this, like for example, TQ portfolio, TQ performance, TidyQuant itself, FIM TQ. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, etc. I think more than 30 functions here. And then here, it tells you how to use this, how to use the function. Okay, for example, coordinate X date. Okay, it's here. It's in one of the here. Coordinate X date. Here, coordinate that X date, and it's on page 3. You can learn about that function. Okay, here, coordinate X date, and what does it do? Zoom in on plot regions using date ranges or date time ranges. For example, you plot, later on we'll use this, guys, to coordinate X date. We plot, for example, Apple stock, the prices of Apple stock, let's say from January 1, 2010 up to December, let's say January 1, 2021. Okay, then we can ask Quantmod to plot this. And then if you want just to plot a particular segment of the data frame, of the data set, then we can use this coordinate X data. Okay, so here what's the function? So date, coordinate X date, we have the limit, the X, the Y, and then expand is equal to true. Okay, so we're going to learn how this is done in R. Okay, but suffice it to say, guys, that if you want to learn a particular package, then the best way to go is through the tutorial or to the documentation. Okay, you'll learn a lot from this because sometimes they would put examples. Okay, and you can follow the examples. Okay, so this is the best way to go to the source itself. Go to the source of TidyQuant. So you can do that, of course, also for Quantmod, but we're not going to do that anymore. Okay, so you can do it for Quantmod. You can do it also for TTR. They also have documentation. Okay, so if you have already installed the packages, we can now access. Okay, we're going to access these packages. We need to do this, guys, so that we can get the functionality of TidyQuant, of Quantmod, of TTR. Even if the packages have already been installed, if we don't require it, so how do we require that? How do we access that? We use the library function, library TidyQuant, library Quantmod, library TTR. Okay, so another way to write this is required and TidyQuant. That's also the same. Okay, now take note, guys, that here we need quotes. Here we don't need quotes. Okay, so let's run this together, guys. So you can use this, run, and then run current chunk. I'm here in this chunk, right? So if I want the whole chunk, this whole chunk to be run, I can click this one, or if I'm in my keyboard, I can just use Control-Shift-Enter. Okay, Control-Enter is just for a particular line for this one. If I want to run everything, we press Control-Shift-Enter. Okay, there. Okay, so once you see this in your console, guys, this greater than mark, it means that the code has already been run. Okay, so Quantmod has already been is available already. TTR is available, and TidyQuant is also already available. Okay, so notice, guys, it did not run require because this is a comment. Okay, it will not run this. If you write hashtag and then you put a code there, Excel will not run that because it will be treated as a comment. Okay, so let's go here. Okay, so now we have run Quantmod, TTR, and TidyQuant. Okay, sometimes, guys, when you're working on R, it might be good to create a folder where you will be saving your projects, your codes there. Okay, so the way to do it is first we get the working directory. Okay, if we run this, get WD, okay, it will tell us where the default directory of R is. So in my computer, it's under C, users, FMD desktop, etc. So for this subject, I'm using this as my working directory. If I want to change this, guys, if I want to have a common working directory, for example, if you have several subjects using R, you can just choose one working directory. You can do that by writing this set working directory. Okay, and then type the file, the location of the folder where you want to put your working directory. So that's set working directory. Okay, so there are several ways to do this, guys. There are several ways to do this. One is to find the file location. How do you determine, guys? How do you find the file location of a folder in your computer? So, for example, I'm going to go here. Okay. So, wait. Here. Okay, in my desktop. Okay, I have this one. I have this. I have this folder work dir. So I used to use this as my working directory. So if I want to use this as my working directory, if I click this, click there, guys, what happens? Okay, what happens, guys? So it points me to this working directory. If I want to get the file name, location of this, I go here and then right click, and then I can state here, copy address. Copy address, okay? If my folder already appears here, okay, copy address, and then I can go back to R, and then I paste it here, Control V. So what do you notice, guys? The Windows uses to to segregate the to compartmentalize the location. Windows uses the backward slash, but in R you have to use the forward slash. So you have to convert. You have to convert this forward slash. You have to convert all the backward slash with the forward slash. So in my, I'm going to let me change my working directory here to this position, okay? And then I can now run this. So I can just run the selected line. Okay. Okay, I'm having a problem here. The working directory was changed to inside a notebook chunk. The working directory will be reset when the chunk is finished running inside a notebook chunk. Okay, so okay, let me, I think the error here is that I have to separate. Okay, let me redo this. Let me insert a chunk here, and then let me just Control X. I think R is telling me that set working directory should not be with other different chunks, code chunks. So let me do this. Run. Okay, it's still not running. This is the first time I met this. The working directory was changed to inside a notebook chunk. Okay, when this happens, guys, and sometimes I encounter this several times. Okay, and if I don't know the answer, guys, what I do is to copy the error term, the one in pink, and then I Google it. I Google it, guys, and then I'm sure there are several people who have already experienced this, and then I'm able to find the answer why this is so. Okay, so did you also experience the same thing, guys? So I tried separating the set working directory in a different code chunk. It still resulted in the same error term. How about you guys? Could you kindly give me feedback? Same then, David, same error then. How about the others? Okay, same. How about the others, guys? Thank you, David. Okay, Hassan, thank you. Okay, so okay, let's leave that for a while. Let's try to see where the error is coming from. Okay, same Sophia. So I think every one of us. So that will be our assignment. Let's determine why R was not automatically changing the directory. If I want this to be my working directory, then why is it that R is not accepting that code. Okay, so I'll just type here. Okay, address the issue here. Okay, so let's do that this as an assignment. What you can do is copy for example, copy this code, okay, modify it a bit to include inside a notebook chunk. Working directory was changed on inside a notebook chunk, and then let's see why the error is happening. Okay, so let me just return here. Okay, so get working directory. Okay, so let me resort back to my original working directory. And so also likewise, guys, also revert to that working directory. Okay, so make sure, guys, that the price of a security is in line 34. You can just add lines there, okay, so that we have the same line, so that when we compare lines of code, then we don't have problems doing that. Okay, so are we on line 34, guys? Kindly chat, please, guys. Sorry, I'm drinking water. Okay, good, guys. So our line 34 is the price of a security. I'm doing this so that when we compare lines, you won't have problems of finding where that line of code is, where the line code is. Okay, so these are just some notes about the price of a stock, the price of a security. Now, when we talk about fundamental analysis, it's very important that we understand prices of securities. Okay, the price of a security is oftentimes different from the value of a security. So I would want to read through this, guys. We won't read through this line by line because I know you have met this in your other subjects. So whether it's a stock or a bond or options, it's important to know the value or the price of that stock, bond, or option. So here I'm distinguishing between the price and the value. Okay, the price of a security is what an investor pays, the amount that the investor caps out to get that asset. On the other hand, the value of the security is the worth of the security. So there can be a difference between this. The value is oftentimes called the intrinsic value. Okay, the price is how much the buyer paid for that. Okay, so just the nuances of the difference between the price and the value. Now, the price of a security is at the core of the investment analysis. Okay, so for example, I'm just reading through this text. No? The price of a security or securities for that matter, we can use that as a benchmark when making investment decisions. So from the, of course, there are two types usually of analysis. You have the fundamental analysis and the technical analysis. From a fundamental value standpoint, investors would be inclined to buy or sell the stock if its price is sufficiently higher than the intrinsic value. Okay, so I know you understand this, guys. Investors would buy the stock if the price of the stock is lower than its intrinsic value, right? I'm sure you have met that expression or sentence. If, for example, based on fundamental analysis, the price or the value of the stock was determined to be 50 pesos. Now, if it's selling at the market at 45 pesos, then should we buy or not, guys? Kindly chat, buy or no buy? Let me repeat my example. Based on a fundamental analysis, evaluation of the asset, it was determined that the intrinsic value of the asset was 50 pesos. And right now at the market, it was selling at 45. Then what will be our decision? Buy or not buy? Okay. All right. Thank you. I'm sure you know this already. So we're going to buy the asset. The decision is to buy the asset because the asset is undervalued. In the market, it's selling at 45. However, the intrinsic value of the asset is 50 pesos. So we buy that because the asset is undervalued. Of course, the reverse is true. If it was selling at 55, possibly the decision would be not to buy because it is overvalued, because the intrinsic value is only 50 pesos. Okay, now, so there are tutorials about this. Okay, for example, this is PDF on Quantmod. But let's go down already, guys, to the to the performance of the Quantmod as a as a package. Okay, so the function that we're going to use is get symbols. Now, if you want to learn more about the get symbols, what you do is type here, maybe in the console. Okay, let's just type here in the console and then get symbols here. Get symbols and then Control Enter. And then here will be tutorials on the function get symbols. So where is get symbols from? Get symbols is from Quantmod package. Okay, this is what we're going to use, the Quantmod package. So sometimes you might be surprised to see that a function will include its namespace, which means from where it's coming from. So another way to write that is Quantmod, and then double colon. Okay, this tells us that this function get symbols is from Quantmod package. Now, sometimes this is important because sometimes a particular function can be coming from two different packages. So if you want to make sure where that function is coming from, then you can use this. You can write the namespace. Well, in our case, this is redundant. This is not needed because get symbols is from this package, Quantmod, and there's no other package that we installed, that we acquired, that we required that has this function. Okay, so if you're new in a particular function, it's always good to look at its definition. Okay, so where is this used? Functions to load and manage symbols in a specified environment. Okay, so this is used to load a particular whatever the symbol is. Okay, the current search methods available are Yahoo, Google, MySQL, Fred, CSV, RData, it's Wanda, and AV. Now, unfortunately, Google can no longer be a search engine. Google has already stopped allowing getting stock prices, but Yahoo still allows that. So we can get the prices of Yahoo. So this is the syntax. Okay. First, the symbols is equal to. It's writing here now so that it will not run, but we have to write the ticker symbol for the stock. Okay, AAPL is a ticker symbol for Apple, so we're going to write here Apple, and then here we just wrote that. The rest will just be the default. Okay, it's enough just to write Apple, this one, to get the stock prices. The default will be, the search engine will be Yahoo. Quantmod will be linking with the Yahoo to get the stock prices of Apple. Okay, and then then the dates will be, we'll see in a while what will be the default dates. Okay, so let's run this, guys. Let's run this. Okay, I'll just it's up to you guys if you want to maintain this, but you know where the purpose for this, guys. This just tells us that get symbols comes from the package Quantmod. So let's run this. Okay. Okay, then what do you have? Okay, we have here, guys, get symbols currently uses the auto.assign is equal to true by default. Okay, but I'll explain this later on. Let's just focus on our output. Okay, so notice that here you have as an output AAPL. Okay, AAPL here, it's also in the console AAPL. And then here, guys, in our environment window, let me just, okay, sometimes it's quite difficult to, okay, let me reposition this. Okay, here you see that in our environment window, there is now this object called AAPL. And it's an XTS object. Okay, it's an XTS object. It's an extensible time series. Okay, later on, we're going to learn what an XTS object is. And you see the default is January 7, okay? January 3, the first training date of 2007 until the current date. So for this year, get symbols, the function get symbols starts it at 2007. Now last year, it started at 2006. But of course, Apple has been listed in the stock market way before this. So we can actually define, later on we'll do that, from what date to what date. So suffice it to see, guys, that the stock prices of Apple is downloaded from January 3, 2007 up to the current date. So this is this is October, okay, 10, what's this? We'll see in a while, okay? Let me just, if I increase this. October 20, I'm sorry, I got confused. October 20, 2021. So that was the last training day in the US, trading day in the US, okay? So if we want to see what this contains, guys, you can click this. You can click the environment. Let's click this. Okay, and automatically what happens is that, okay, there's a tab here that gives us what's inside this Apple object. So you see here the opening prices, the opening price, high, low, close, the volume of the transaction, and the adjusted price. So that's from January 3, 2007 until the most current trading date, which is October 20, 2021. So how convenient it is to download prices. Whereas before, I don't know if you had the subject where you were taught how to download stock prices from Yahoo itself. You have to go to the site, the search engine Yahoo, and then Yahoo Finance, and then you have to download the historical data, and it will be downloaded as a CSV file. Okay, so it will take several steps. But here in Quantmod, guys, in R, just this function, get symbols, Apple. Okay, that's it. And we were able to download the stock prices. The default as of this year is 2007, first trading day of January, up to the current one. So next year, that might change already. That might be from 2008. So I'm assuming that I think it's around 15 years. Okay, 2007. So it's the default is 15 years of data, daily data. Okay, any questions so far, guys? So far, are you learning? Paki-chat nga, guys, if this is the first time for you to have access Apple data using R. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, Chevy. How about the rest, guys? First time? If not, guys, okay lang. Sabihin nyo, no. But first time, thank you, Hesed. Thank you, Sophia, Bea. Thank you. Okay, Nick, thank you. Okay, it's so convenient, diba? I'm sure you'll agree with me that it's so convenient. And guys, it's not only you can also download several prices at the same time. Okay. Now, before we go to the next line of code, now notice, guys, that when I click this, it generated this tab. Okay. Here. Okay, there are 3,727 entries, which means there are 3,727 daily prices given to us. Okay, the number of rows. Okay, so 1 to 14 means it first shows us the first 14. Okay, and then there are 3,727 entries, and it gives us the opening price, high, low, close, volume, and the adjusted prices. And what do you notice about this, guys? Take note that you see the dates, guys, is not a column in the spreadsheet itself. You notice it's here on the left side, and there's no title here. Okay, you have a column for open, high, low, close, etc. Now the date here, notice again, it's not part of the spreadsheet. The date here is treated as an index. Okay, and that's one good thing about an XTS object. Okay, an XTS object, guys, will have the dates as an index. Unlike if it's a data frame, then you will have a column here, date. Okay, take note, guys. No? If this is a data frame, you will have the first. You will not have this. You will not have an index, but you will have an index, but it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It will just be numbers. Okay, and then here the first column will be date, and then Apple open, close, etc. The advantage of using an extensible time series XTS object in prices, stock prices, is because indexing the date makes it convenient to work with this data. Okay, so when we deal with time series, we're going to learn, guys, that if you have a data that's in data frame, you have to convert it into an XTS object so that it will be easier to manipulate or easier to work on that file, that file or that object. Otherwise, it can be very cumbersome and difficult to work in a data that has the date as its one of its variables. Okay, so an XTS object will work fine. And notice, guys, that when we click this, what happened? If I click this again, guys, if I click this again, okay, it generated the same thing. But notice, guys, in the console, you see, this is view AAPL. So that's the code. When we click this, the code to generate this window of the prices of the object, guys, is view AAPL. Okay, so if I, for example, if I click this, let's just close this. No, don't save it. Okay, and then we know that we already have the Apple object. And so let me put here, view, okay, AAPL. Okay, so this is another way of generating our object as a tab here in R Studio, in R. Okay, so Control Enter there. So we generate this tab where we have the open, high, low, close, etc. of Apple. Okay, any questions so far, guys? Clear so far? Paki-chat naman, please. Clear so far? Okay, thank you. Just drink water, guys.
Sir, nakamute po ata kayo.
Oh, sorry. I already talked a lot. No? So what are we doing, guys? We got the symbols for Amazon, Google, IBM, Tesla, and Netflix. So we know we have it already here. And we know that by clicking this one, it will generate generate this tab where you have the stock prices of the stocks. Okay. And I'm not sure if I use this, will it generate automatically all the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's see, all the five stocks. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so what it did was, okay, so what happened, guys? Did it generate the 5 different windows for the different stocks? No, it did not. It only read, ang binasa lang niya is Amazon. So it disregarded the Google, IBM, Tesla. Because if you take a look at this, it's Amazon all throughout. Okay. Ah, wait, 17. I see. I see. So what it did was, okay, it did not give the desired results because what it did was to consolidate all the prices here. So we'll have a problem with this one because, okay, let's see, guys. 2019. Okay. Up to October 2020. So this is August. Okay, 1020, 1021, 1022. 1990. Ah, okay. Did you see what it did, guys? Did you notice what it did? So for January 3, 2021, it consolidated Amazon, and then what's the next one? Google, IBM, Tesla, and Netflix, all for January 3. These 4 prices. Okay, so what we did here, the view, and then we consolidated Amazon, Google, IBM. What it did was to generate it in one view window here, but it appended all the prices. Okay, so but that's not what we want. Okay, that's not what we want. We wanted to have Amazon, Google, IBM in separate windows. So we can just, the best thing to do is just click this. So that will give us Amazon, and then Google, and then IBM, and then Netflix, and then Tesla. So we have actually 5 view commands here, and it will give us 5 different tabs giving us their stock prices. Okay, so sometimes in the course of teaching this subject, my mind sometimes wanders because I haven't tried this before. Okay, so I was thinking, what will happen if I tried this? So now we know, guys, that if we cannot combine this and combine them or concatenate them and expect separate windows for the stocks. But if we want them to be consolidated in one, just like what we did here, okay, then that's what we do. The problem with this one is that it's now difficult to see. This is Amazon, this is Google, this is Netflix, IBM, etc. So that can be difficult to ascertain now. Okay, clear, guys? Clear? Okay, thank you for informing me. I was on mute. Okay, clear so far? Any questions? Paki-chat naman please kung clear. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So far, guys, are you learning? May natutunan ba tayo? New things, guys? Okay, good. Good. Thank you. All right. So let's continue, guys. How about this one, guys? These are indices. Okay, these are indices. So you know what's GSPC? Can somebody please chat, guys? What's GSPC? This is an index. I'm sure you have met this in your other subjects, but maybe you have not known what the ticker symbol of this index is. That's your, yes, I saw an answer. That's your, yes, correct. Nick, they're correct. That's your S&P 500. No? Standard & Poor's 500 consisting of 500 US stocks. Okay, and it's used as a benchmark oftentimes to assess the performance of a stock. It's a proxy for the market, because when we say market, it's the universe of all the stocks that's trading in the, for example, in the NYSE, New York Stock Exchange. So GSPC, that's the ticker symbol. We have the caret there, caret GSPC. That's the ticker symbol for S&P 500. Now, there are also others. Now, I leave this to you to determine, guys, for you to research on. What does SPI stand for? How about SLY? How about J&K and CWI? So these are all indices. They're very popular indices. Okay, so I leave, guys, to you to determine what's GSPC, etc. Okay. Okay, so what's this one? Okay, sorry, I forgot to delete this. I should have deleted this, guys, because I want you to, on your own, okay, this is index, determine what are these. Okay, so this is SPY, is an exchange traded fund. SPY, SLY, and J&K, and even CWI are all exchange traded funds. So if you don't know what an exchange traded fund is, okay, I hope you studied that in your investments analysis. Then I want you to research on that, because we're going to make use of SPY, SLY, J&K in our discussions. And we don't have time really to discuss what an ETF is. Okay, so ticker symbols, guys, you can use this as a reference to find what are ticker symbols. So I said here, what are ETFs? Exchange traded funds. Okay. A while ago, what we used was a simplified get symbols code, because if you don't put the others, it will give us the default. Okay, so if you want to change the output, okay, so we can complete the code as shown here, guys. But we looked at this. Okay, there's this environment, there's this reload that symbols if it's needed, warnings, source, symbols, etc. Okay, so let's create an object. Okay, here. What's this, guys? So for the first time, we're using this symbol. That one is called, so this one, for the benefit of those who were not under me before, this one is called your assignment operator. Assignment operator. And we use it, guys, to create an object. So here we're creating an object with the name of Apple1, AAPL1. And what's inside Apple1 is whatever this code will provide. Okay? So, of course, we can use the is equal to sign. Okay, so we could have used here AAPL is equal to. No problem. It will also give us the same answer. However, it's highly recommended that we don't use equal to, because oftentimes equal to can also be used inside your function. So it's best to use the assignment operator. And how will you type assignment operator? So you have to use shift and then the less than or equal to sign and then the minus. So that can be very cumbersome. So the shortcut to write the assignment operator is simply Alt. Okay, that should be Alt, ALT, and then minus. Okay, sorry. The ALT and then minus. So this is the shortcut to type the assignment operator. So let's try to do that. Let's delete this. Delete. And then I'm going to type Alt and then minus. So that's a shortcut. Instead of having to type 3, press 3 keyboards, which is which is the shift, and then the less than, and then the minus. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at this, guys. Get symbols. Again, the ticker symbol Apple. And then here we're just identifying source Yahoo, although this is not needed, guys, because the default is Yahoo. But this one, we need this because this one, at this time, we're going where we want now from 2010, January 1, up to 2011, January 1. Okay, because the default a while ago was 2007, okay, January 3, and then up to the current date. Okay, now we're going to use a different time series from 2010 up to 2021. This is January 1. Periodicity, guys, daily. You can use monthly, you can use weekly. So the beautiful thing about this is that if you just need weekly data, you can just change the periodicity to weekly. And that auto.assign is equal to false. I'll explain this later on. So let's run this, run. Okay, then what happened? What happened was we now have an object called AAPL1. Okay, so this one, we named the object AAPL1. As compared to a while ago, we did not name this. Okay, we just use get symbols and then Apple, and automatically R just named the object as AAPL. But here, guys, we use an assignment operator. So we named the object AAPL. It's good to do that because we can name the object the way we want it named. Okay, so let's do what we know what to do. View. We know how to print this in okay, view AAPL, control enter. So there, guys, we have view AAPL. And take note, it's no longer 3,700 rows as compared to what we did a while ago. It's only 2,769 rows because it's starting now with 2010, 01, 04. So although you mentioned we wrote 01, 01, but since there was no trading in January 1, no trading in January 2, no trading in January 3, then Quantmod gave us the first trading date of 2010, which is January 4. And then this ends up to here, 2020, 12/31, because there's no 2020, 2020, did we use, yes, we used 2021, 1/1. So since there's no January 1, 2021, it ended in 2020, 12/31. Okay. So you can adjust the dates, guys. You can adjust the dates of the stock prices that you want downloaded. Okay. So let me just okay. Although we're going to discuss this later on. Okay. So Control C. Okay. Let's copy the whole thing. Control C, and then space Control V. Okay, I'll give you time to copy this, and then let's call it Apple 2 from the same date then, and then view Apple 2. But this time, let's make it weekly. Weekly. So what happens if we try to download weekly stock prices from January 1, 2010 up to January 1, 2021? So let me highlight this and then Control Enter. Okay, so we have now Apple 2. Then automatically, guys, it gave us Apple 2 because part of the code is view Apple 2. Okay, so what do we have here? So you notice, guys, this is January 1, okay, and then January 8, January 15, January 22. Okay, towards the last we have okay, December 18, December 25. So this is now weekly. Okay, this is now weekly. So you can do that for monthly. Okay, clear so far, guys? You see how convenient it is to make use of Quantmod. This for me is one of the powerful packages that was developed for R for investment analysis or for downloading prices. So any questions so far, guys? I hope you're doing what I'm doing, guys, so that we're on the same line. So clear so far? Clear ba, guys? Pakichat naman kung clear. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Okay, so now sometimes, guys, you might wish just to see the first, let's say, first 10 elements. So I'm in row, I'll go to row 88, guys, or row 89, and then I'll insert a code chunk. And if you want just to see the first 10 rows or 10 columns of a particular object, you can use the head function, head AAPL PL1. Okay, if we type this code, guys, and then run it, okay, what happens? It gives us here, not in this window, it gives us the first 6 rows of our object AAPL. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The first 6 objects. So you have this index, you have these columns, AAPL opening price, highest, lowest, close, and then volume. If you want, notice that we didn't put 6 because that's the default. If you want the first, let's say the first 10 rows, then you have to type 10, but the default is 6. Okay, Control Enter, and you notice that there are 10 rows here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so that will generate the first 10 rows, and then if you want the last 10, you use the tail function. Tail AAPL1. Okay, let's get the last 10 rows. So you use the tail function. Okay, let's run this. Control Enter. Okay, there you go. So these are the last 10 rows, 1217 up to 1231. Okay. All right. So I'm now here, guys, at okay, make sure we are on the same row. Okay, I'm now in row 94, guys, and it opens our code chunk. Okay, let's run this, guys. Names AAPL. We met this a while ago. What will we have, guys, if we run these names? What will names give us? So Control Enter. Okay, so names give the names function give us the variables, the variables in that object AAPL1. So the variables are AAPL open up to AAPL adjusted. Okay. So is this clear, guys? Okay. In fact, we can use n rows. N row. What's n row? N row AAPL1. Let's run this. So go to this line 97. Control Enter, and it's 2769. Okay, 2,769. There are 2,769 rows. Is that true, AAPL1? Yeah, 2,769, while AAPL2 is, sorry, guys. Sorry, I was looking at AAPL2. There are only 574 entries. So for AAPL1, there are 2,769 entries. Okay. All right. Now, how about this, guys? What's this? Okay, you see the brackets here? The brackets is used to subset. Okay, it will generate a subset of whatever object you're trying to subset. Here you have AAPL1. That's our object. And this is AAPL1, right? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns and 2,769 rows. Okay. Now here, I want, okay, so this is the subset. This will subset it. Okay. So what do you find here? C. Okay. So this is the first one. The first one will be the rows. Okay, it will be the rows, and the second one will be the columns. So this whole thing here is the number of rows. Okay, so what are we telling Excel? Sorry, R. We're telling R, okay, I want you to subset, okay, here C. So 1 to 5, what does this mean? What does this mean? Only the first 5 rows and N row AAPL1. What's this, guys? What's N row AAPL1? We did this, guys, right? This is 2769. So we're telling R here, could you give me the first 5 rows and the last row? N row AAPL1 gives us N769. Okay, and then so this is the number of rows, and then this one is the number of columns. So you notice, guys, that in subsetting you only have actually 2 here. Okay. So these are the 2. This should be a comma. So when you subset, you first have this. This refers to the number of rows, and this one to the number of columns. And this one, it's a bit complicated, but the first item here refers to the number of rows. And it's a compounded, it's concatenated. So C means combine. Combine the first 5 rows and the last row. The last row is 2769. And then for the columns, include all the columns. Okay, so let's generate this. Okay, AAPL 1. Okay, Control Enter. Now take a look at the subset that was generated. Okay, the first 5 rows of AAPL1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the last row, 2020, 12, 31. Okay, this can be useful if, for example, you just want to get the first just to check, no, if you got the right object, the first 3, okay, and the last 3, for example, you can do that. Okay, but I leave that to you as an exercise. Okay, so we use the brackets for subsetting a particular object. Okay. All right, here, so we used, yeah, I think, okay, we used weekly. Did we do this a while ago? I think I got ahead of myself. Okay, because we did this here. So this was a replication. Okay, so we replicated this. Okay, it's already time, guys, but okay, so next meeting, we're going to continue this. There are all in all 300 rows here of codes, okay, and some notes. So I want you guys to please work on this. So for your assignment, I won't collect it, but please work on this so that next meeting, we will have a smoother time discussing this, since you already have run through the different codes. And please try to learn what these different codes give us. Okay. All right. So let me pause. Let me stop recording. Okay. May I